Right, today in geometry, we are looking at section 12.2, finding surface area of prisms and cylinders. We're going to start out with some vocabulary. So first, what is a prism? So a prism is a polyhedron with two congruent parallel faces called bases. The other faces are called lateral faces. They are parallelograms formed by connecting the corresponding vertices of the bases. The segments connecting these vertices are lateral edges. Prisms are classified by the shapes of their bases. So we talked about this the other day. In order for it to be a prism, it must have two bases, and they must be parallel to one another, so they will never touch each other. So here's some examples. So this one, we have this top base and the bottom base, and again they are named by the shape of their base. So we see that this one is a pentagon, so this would be a pentagonal prism. This next picture, this is our base and this is our other base. They are hexagons, so this would be known as a hexagonal prism. This next one, this is our base on top, this is the base on the bottom. The shape is a rectangle, so this is a rectangular prism. And this last one, okay, remember we talked about that it doesn't have to be sitting on its base. So here I have two triangles that are parallel to one another, and so this is a triangular prism because those are our bases. So now we're going to talk about some area. First, we're going to talk about what's called lateral area. So the lateral area, also known as LA, so we will abbreviate it as capital L, capital A. So the lateral area of a polyhedron is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces. So the lateral area does not include the area of the bases. It's just around all of the other faces. The surface area, abbreviated as capital S, capital A of a polyhedron, is the sum of the areas of all the faces, including the bases. So surface area covers every single surface of the prism, sorry, of the polyhedron. The lateral area only covers the lateral faces, no bases. Okay. So then we have some formulas. The lateral area of a prism. So lateral area equals capital P times H, where capital P stands for the perimeter of the base and H is the height of the prism. Okay, so here in our picture, again, we have two bases. Remember to find the perimeter, you add up all of those sides, and then here it tells me this is the height of that prism. So the height of a prism is the perpendicular distance between the bases. Remember we said that the height is always going to be perpendicular to a base. In a right prism, each lateral edge is perpendicular to both bases. A prism with lateral edges not perpendicular to the bases is known as an oblique prism. And so then here I just gave you some pictures. We have the right rectangular prism. So we see that base and our height is perpendicular to that. And the oblique, here is a base, here is a base. You can see that the lateral edges are not perpendicular. Okay, so that's not a right angle there. A right triangular prism, here's my base, here's my base. The lateral edges are perpendicular to that. An oblique triangular prism, again, it's still a triangular prism, but the lateral edges are not perpendicular. The height has to be brought straight down on the outside of an oblique prism. Right, the formula to find the surface area of a right prism. Surface area is equal to 2 times the capital B plus capital PH, or the surface area is equal to little a times capital P plus capital P times H. Capital B is always the area of the base, so that's going to change based on what shape our base is. Capital P is the perimeter of the base. Little a is the apothem of the base, and and H is the height. Recall that the lateral area is the perimeter times the height, So surface area is really lateral area plus 2 times the area of whatever the base is. So we're going to start out nice and easy. It says find the lateral area. So first it says what shape is the base. So it's very important to identify our base so we know what shape it is, so we know what formula to use to find the area of it. So here, my base, I have a rectangle on top and a rectangle on the bottom. So what shape is the base? It's a rectangle. So that means this is a rectangular prism. The perimeter of the base, okay, so the perimeter base means add up all 4 sides. So I've got 5 plus 5 plus 6 plus 6. So when I add all of that up, the perimeter of the base is 22 feet. So the lateral area is equal to the perimeter, which we just found, 22, times the height of the entire prism, in this case, 10. So when I multiply that together, I get 220 square feet for the lateral area. So that is the area, I'm going to switch colors, of everything except the bases. So it's the area of this side, the front, and the back. That's what we just found the area of, the lateral area. So now we want the surface area. So that's the area of everything all the way around. So surface area is equal to the lateral area, I just found 220, plus 2 times the area of the base. It's always 2 in a prism because there are always 2 bases in a prism. So the shape of this base is a rectangle. The area to find, the formula to find the area of a rectangle is base times height. So 2 times 5 times 6. The base of the rectangle, the height of that rectangle. So 5 times 6. So here I get 220 plus 2 times 5 is 10 times 6 is 60. So I say that the surface area is equal to, when I add those together, 280 square feet. And my surface area should always be greater than my lateral area. So let's try another one of those. Find the lateral area. Again, what shape is the base? So my base, I have these triangles, right? So it's a triangle. The perimeter of the base, I need all 3 sides. So this is 8. Back here, this is marked as 6. So this is 6. I need this missing side. I'm going to call it X right now. So in this triangle, 6, 8, X. I can do Pythagorean theorem, 6 squared plus 8 squared equals X squared. Or I can recognize that this is one of my triples, 6, 8, 10. So then I know that X is 10. So my perimeter is 6 plus 8 plus 10. I add up the 3 sides. When I do that, I get a perimeter of 24 inches. So my lateral area is my perimeter, 24, times the height of the entire prism. The height of the prism is not going to be on the base, remember? So that 20 is the height of the entire prism. So my lateral area, when I multiply 24 times 20, I get 480 square inches. So remember that we're still finding area. Anytime we find area, we have to square our units. So now it wants the surface area. Now it wants the area of everything. So the surface area is equal to the lateral area, 480, plus 2 times the area of the base. My base is a triangle, so the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2. The base of the triangle, 8, times the height of the triangle, 6. So this is 480. 2 times a half is just 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 6 is 48. So add those. So 480 plus 48. My surface area is 528 square inches. Right. Let's look at another prism. Right. So find the lateral area and surface area of this prism. So we look at this one and we know what shape is it. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have an octagonal prism. So the lateral area is the perimeter, right? So my perimeter is of the base. I have 8 sides, and it tells me they're each 8 feet long. So the perimeter times the height of the entire thing, which in this case is 22. So when I multiply 8 times 8, 64, times 22, I get 1,408 square feet for the lateral area. So now my surface area this is where we're going to use the formula. The surface area is equal to the apothem times the perimeter plus the perimeter times the height. So the lateral area, I already know, 1408. Plus, now I need the apothem times the perimeter, okay? So again, I'm just going to write, we need the apothem. We learned in the last chapter how to find the apothem, remember? So first I need that central angle. So I have 360 divided by 8 since it's an octagon, and that gets me 45. So then when I pull this triangle out, I have to cut this central angle in half. So this angle is 22.5. Remember, my apothem is always the height of that triangle. The base of the triangle is the side cut in half, so this is 4. I'm looking for A, so if I stand up here, I have opposite and adjacent, so that's tangent of 22.5 equals opposite 4 over adjacent, which is my A that I'm looking for. So when I cross multiply, I get A times the tangent, 22.5 equals 4. So to get the A by itself, it's 4 divided by the tangent of 22.5. So here I get that my apothem is approximately, remember we go 4 decimal places, 9.6569. So now that I have my apothem, I can plug that back in. Surface area is lateral area plus my apothem, 9.6569, times my perimeter. Well, the perimeter was 8 times 8, so 64. So my surface area, so when I add 1408 plus the 9.6569 times 64, I'm going to get, and this is where I can round to 1 decimal place because now I'm at the end, 2,026.04 square feet. So this is one of those examples that everything that we've done before builds on itself. Okay, so now we learned how to find the apothem in the last chapter. We have to use that in this chapter on these problems. All right, so we looked at prisms. Now we're going to look at cylinders. So first let's talk about what is a cylinder. So a cylinder is a solid with congruent circular bases that lie in parallel planes. The height of the cylinder is the perpendicular distance between the bases. The radius of the base is the radius of the cylinder. In a right cylinder, the segment joining the centers of the bases is perpendicular to the bases. So now we have new formulas. The lateral area of a cylinder is the area of its curved surface. So the lateral area, okay, since a cylinder doesn't have faces, right, lateral faces, it has curved. So the lateral area is simply the area of the curved surface. The surface area of a cylinder is the sum of the lateral area and the area of the two bases, which are circles. Right? So the formula to find the lateral area, it's still the perimeter times the height. The perimeter of the curved surface is going to be 2 pi r times h for the height. The surface area is our lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So the lateral area was the 2 pi r h plus 2 times, since my bases are circles, the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. So plus 2 pi r squared. Okay. So in this picture, again, this, I can see the height of the cylinder on the outside or dropped down on the middle. Halfway there, that's the radius. So the radius of the base is also the radius of the cylinder. So let's look at some examples of these. Find the lateral area and the total surface area. So lateral area, the formula says 2 pi, the radius, they give me the radius of 12, times the height of 18. So I'm going to multiply all of that together. So 2 times 12 is 24. 24 times 18 gives me 432 pi square meters. I can leave pi in my answer, or if I want a decimal, I can multiply 432 by pi and get 1,357.2 square meters. So now the surface area, again, I'll do it both with pi and without, or with multiplying through. So it's the lateral area, 432 pi, plus 2 times the area of the base. Since the base is a circle, it's 2 pi, the radius, 12 squared. So here I get 432 pi, plus, so 12 squared is 144, 144 times 2, so plus 288 pi. So if I add those two together, I get 720 pi square meters. Or if I multiply 720 times pi, I get 2,261.9 square meters. All right, let's look at a few more cylinders. And the lateral area and the total surface area. The only two things that I need in order to find lateral area and surface area are the radius and the height. On this example, they gave me the diameter. They showed me all the way across was 14. So remember that my radius is half my diameter. So 14 cut in half, my radius is 7. So now my lateral area is equal to 2 pi, my radius 7 times my height 28. So my lateral area is equal to 392 pi square meters. Or if I want to multiply that by pi, 1,231.5 square meters. So now my surface area is my lateral area, 392 pi, plus 2 pi times the radius, 7 squared. So this would be 392 pi plus 98 pi. So my surface area would equal 490 pi square meters, or multiply 490 times pi and get 1,539.4 square meters. All right, we're going to have lots and lots of word problems in this chapter and real-world applications. So let's go ahead and look at a word problem. It says an orange juice can is a cylinder with a base diameter of 7.2 feet and a height of 13.5 feet. Find the area of the label. I'm a visual person, so first I'm going to draw me a picture of this orange juice can. So I have a cylinder. They tell me that the diameter all the way across is 7.2. I know that I'm going to need my radius. So it's my diameter cut in half. So 7.2 cut in half is 3.6. It has a height of 13.5. Find the area of the label. Remember that area of the label, that's only the curved surface. So this is the curved surface that they're asking me to find. So this is lateral area that they've asked me to find. Okay, so the area of the label does not include the base, right? So think about a can. You don't ever see the base, or the label covering the top and bottom of the can. It's only around the middle portion, right? So the area of a label is always going to be lateral area that they're referring to. So the lateral area here is equal to 2 pi times my radius, 3.6, times my height, 13.5. So when I multiply all that together, I get 97.2 pi square feet. Or if I wanted to multiply 3 by pi, 305.4 square feet. That's a huge label, but think about this. Look at that. That's a pretty big can of orange juice, right? It's 13.5 feet high of orange juice, so this can of orange juice is taller than this. All right, so the key on that one is to remember that anytime they ask you to find the area of a label, it's lateral area. One last example. Find the height. So here they're asking me to find the height of a right cylinder. So again, if I wanted, I could draw the picture. I'm looking for the height. They told me that the radius is 2.5 meters. The surface area is 157.08 meters. All right, so I'm just going to write down my formula. The surface area is equal to 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. I'm going to substitute everything I know into this formula. They told me that the surface area was 157.08, so I'm going to replace that SA. So 157.08 equals 2 pi. The radius, they told me, was 2.5. The height, that's what we're looking for, so H plus 2 pi, my radius, 2.5 squared. So I just need to solve this equation to find out what H is. So on this side, I still have 157.08. Over here, I'm going to multiply all of this together. 2 times pi times 2.5. They gave me 2 decimal places over here on the surface area, so that's why I'm going to go to here. So 2 pi times 2.5 gives me 15.71 H. Plus over here, 2.5 squared. times 2 pi gets me a 39.27. Subtract 39.27 from both sides, then I get 117.81 equals 15.71 h. Now to get h by itself, I simply need to divide both sides by 15.71. And the height of this cylinder is equal to 7.5 meters. So that's how we would find height if we knew the radius and the surface area. If we knew the height and the surface area, we could find the radius. So lots of different types of problems we could do there. So that wraps up section 12.2, lateral area, surface area of prisms and cylinders.